Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings and welcome back. I'm starting this off with a poll that was held by John Davis, JDLLM, on X late in April of 2025. Do you think it is time for men to stop complying with judges' rulings, decisions, and orders? Overwhelmingly, the vote was 83+% saying yes. Now, I'm going to show you a collection of criminals who are getting the soft glove treatment before we get into the news story. For what reason is there to follow a judge's ruling when these women who are abusing underage children, well, just children, are given probation? They commit murder or plan to commit murder, and they're given probation. Walking into court, as I've repeatedly stated, smiling as you change your plea from not guilty to guilty as you're facing 10 years. Is that what any normal, sane person is going to do? No, but a woman who's been given a sweetheart deal certainly would be doing that. These women, no matter what the atrocity, no matter what the crime they commit, are not being held accountable. And I asked in another video, who is the bigger threat? The criminal perpetrators that you're seeing pop across the screen? Or their willing and criminally conspiratorial collaborators, the judges and prosecutors, who are releasing them back into society? Which one is the bigger threat? You've got these evil people doing vile things with letter openers to newborn children, to longtime husbands, poisoning their coffee. From birth until middle age, you've got these judges and prosecutors saying, yeah, it's fine. Judge takes away death penalty option for Kentucky mother accused of killing toddler. Bell County Circuit Court Judge Keith Nagle signed an order striking a death penalty and changing the first count of Erica Lawson's indictment. She murdered her 17-month-old child. So why should men follow a judge's ruling if they're just going to soft pedal this stuff and let these abusive, evil monsters go free? Or change their charges to a lesser charge? Officials said they had never seen a case of abuse this severe in a child this young. This is one of the most severe cases of abuse, specifically because the baby was 17 months old. Said, because Kentucky's a Commonwealth, said the Commonwealth attorney. Lawson was indicted with murder, failure to report, child dependency, neglect, or abuse, first-degree criminal abuse, and first-degree wanton endangerment. Remember that word, wanton. We're coming back to that. The murder charge is a capital offense, meaning the death penalty was on the table, as it should be, as a possible option for sentencing if she was found guilty. And I say that because government officials and women are the only two groups who, without exception or without question, are, when the guilty verdict comes down, they are guilty. Unlike men who are found to be exonerated by DNA evidence long after the fact. The indictment charged her with intentionally killing her daughter. Intentionally. I want you to remember that word too. We're coming back to that with wanton being the key word. Both parties reviewed evidence available at discovery and agreed Hembry suffered, that's the child, suffered blunt force trauma to the back of her head. 2 days, 2 to 3 days, or 2 to 3 hours, or 2 to 3 days before being taken to the emergency room. They also said the trauma was not physically noticeable and only found by the medical examiner. That is the pathologist, the board certified pathologist. Just the only thing different between a coroner and a medical examiner is one is board certified, the other one is elected. Coroners are elected, medical examiners are licensed doctors who are board certified. Therefore, they have a license on the line to making if they make a wrong determination. The Commonwealth's attorney provided a written document that provided more details about the charge, but did not focus on the intentionality of the death. Instead, they focused on Lawson's failure to help Hembry, as they believed she did not meet the legal duties as a parent. In 2023, Kentucky lawmakers changed the eligibility for the death penalty. The murder of a child would have been proven as intentional. Because of this fact, the judge, this Keith Nagle, ruled the case did not meet the requirements to warrant the death penalty. Mr. Simp of the Year goes to you, you pathetic loser. Put his head on the block. The judge also changed the wording of the first count of the indictment. Keith Nagle changed the wording from intentionally to wantonly. Let's define that. All right, so we go over here. Wantonly is playful, careless, sportfully. I was just goofing off. Intentional is deliberate, premeditated, with thought. It's an action. It's a mental state in which a person commits themselves to doing something. That is the degree of absurdity that this Judge Keith Nagle has acted with absolute disgust. So, what is the purpose of including this poll that was held a couple days ago? It is a very valid question, and that is, for what reason do men, the men who hold each other accountable to society and its laws, what reason do we have to follow an order of a freaking incompetent, evil judge who is changing an intentional and deliberate act of murder of a less than 2-year-old child to playful? For what reason is any man going to ever follow a judge's ruling ever again? It's time to treat them as you would when you're cleaning a sturgeon.